Showing live today, man. I've had to go on the board over here, and everything was distorting and carrying on, and they're just laughing, having a good time. And they're all from Chicago. These three brothers, if you're just tuning in with, they're all from Chicago, and they're all here in our studio here at 10 in Urban Soul Radio, 10. I can't get my Urban Soul Radio .fm here at God's House Park with a Z, where we are
redefining what you used to.
And I'm not used to this, but we're gonna make it through there. We're gonna say a few last closing words with these brothers.
But I wanted to ask him a question before we left. Did you forget?
I did.
Think back.
I had a moment. An age thing gets me to blank out. Either blank me out totally though. He just calling me so.
No.
The age
What
thing
is
is a hair thing. It's a hair pulling back his brain. You know, it's the hair is reshifting his brain.
So one of the things I wanted to ask is, what is the difference that you guys find playing gospel music and playing in the secular world? What's the difference? Or is there any difference?
You answer that. Go ahead. You want to start?
Oh, y'all gonna ask me.
All right. Well, in secular, I think it's a little bit more organized, if I may say that, because they're working with certain budgets and things like that. In gospel, sometimes it's kind of hit and miss. But the more bigger the church, then the more it's a little bit more structured. With you have your schedules, you set on your schedules and things like that. So, in some ways, I wish that the churches would be a little bit more organized in that.
In the business part.
Yeah. Now most of the larger churches, and I won't name any, but they already have they already have their crews in there, and so when if we go out on the road or whatever else like that, then they make sure that we have a sub in place, stuff like that. So that's pretty set in stone. So. Yeah.
Ethan?
It's all pretty much the same to me. You got churches that's organized, you got churches that's unorganized. You got artists, regular consecutive artists that's organized, and some that's not. And a lot of church musicians plays with the consecutive people and vice versa. So it's very similar in a lot of ways to me. With the church, a lot of musicians, they bring. It's a lot of church that goes on in the live concerts with R&B and secular people. So it's like you bringing both worlds together anyway. So it's very similar to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with both. I mean, they pretty much said everything. They're right. I agree.
One of the things that I could tell you you're trying to say, but didn't really say, that in the secular world, you're gonna get paid.
Yeah,
and
I want to say that.
Not always.
That's why I said it's so similar, because some artists out there, you be waiting a long time to pay your checks, and they go through the legal stuff and all that too.
Really?
Yes.
But eventually you do get paid, instead of saying this is a love offering. It's just for your gas money.
Some artists out there, got the secular artists, I don't want to name, they be trying to give you a love token and it don't work.
Yeah. Hey man, can I give you this bass? Hey man,
let me do a barter.
That's a Tokyo bass, man. I don't want that, man.
I mean, they try to take advantage because they know they're stars and they think, like, we honored to play with them just for free, just because of who it is. But we look at it as a business also. So
now tell me something. What made you stand out other than other musicians? Because to me, a bass player is a bass player. What is the thing that made you stand out as a musician?
Well, for me, being on time and being professional and just doing my job and taking it seriously and not taking it for granted, because it's a gift and you have to really take care of it. Exactly.
And he's the only bass player that got hair like that. So he's going to stand out.
Keep it going. Like I said, when we do these interviews in the future, Ethan cannot be involved.
Hey, the strings get dry. Take a little bit of grease. Wet up the strings. We're good.
Oh my goodness. So what made you stand out, Ethan?
His shades and mohawk.
He must have played, right?
Well, at least we do have some light in here now. The shades make sense.
Sunny California.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
No, it's What was the question again? You guys?
What brand you stand out?
Oh, Ray-Bans? No. Blue Rockers?
That's it. He didn't tell y'all he doing a commercial. Those are special glasses that he do was going to be on. You know how you do the slip, you slip them on because we had to get authorization to do it. But he slipped them on in, called me and said, I did. You're good, Ethan. You're good.
What makes you stand out as a bass player than the other bass player?
Well, like JJ said earlier, it's a business. We don't come in as musicians now. We come in as businessmen. So you have to be on time. You got to know how to conduct yourself on the road. You got to know how to interact with the artists. You got to know how to interact with their fans, because you know it all works hand in hand because of the social media and the internet. And you don't want to be on the road and they say, "Oh, your bass player was terrible and he treated us like crap on the road." We become a part of what they do. So you got to have all that under control. And it's just not about your bass player now. It's only 2 hours of stage. And you got another 22 hours to hang with that person. So if your personality is not good and you can't get along, people will take somebody who's cool and can play over somebody who's really good but has a sucky attitude. Because it's like, yo, that only lasts 2 hours on stage, we're going to hear good bass playing.
Right.
Exactly.
So you got to, all of it works together. And as you can see, I'm a very funny guy. How you doing? How you doing?
That's all I want to say. How you doing?
So my bass player ain't got to be good, but I'll make you laugh on it.
I'm waiting for the joke from Ethan first.
No, get in real quick.
You better so hurry up.
Because you know you're gonna get on your hat, bro.
For me, in all seriousness, it was just a good attitude. When I came out here, there was a lot of bass players that were just totally Hollywood thing. There was one bass player, and I won't make names. I won't say names, but he was known for putting his cell phone on the neck of his bass, on the headstock of his bass. It was like, okay, what's that all about? So when I came out here, I was a young cat. And I just came out here and I just wanted to learn. And I was just excited about coming out here. Plus two,
he brings his own wardrobe. There ain't nothing about wardrobe. So the artist be like, yo,
I had at least 3 wardrobes.
You feel? He gonna come with more outfits than us. We cool.
Right.
So we can save that budget.
You gotta buy your clothes.
Exactly.
She got a 2 cents. She got a joke here. One of the major things that you guys said is you don't have to be the best, but if you do have a good attitude, you're on time, you're respectful, and you do know how to conduct yourself when you're out on the road, because being on the road is no joke. You got to get along with the people that's there, Those are the things that people look at. I know that's me as an artist, that's what I would look for. Right. And when I try you out, if I ask you to come somewhere, I look to see what time you come, what your attitude is and things like that. Those are things that really, really count in this business.
And for Phil, what kind of outfit he's going to wear today.
Yeah. See, we like to coordinate.
Oh, God. So any of you have any last words you want to say? Oh, first you want to talk about your CD that's coming out.
Check out my album that came out, Wine and Strings. You can look me up Twitter at eBassman on Twitter, Facebook, eBigBass. My website, /farmer. Is that the slash, the minus sign?
Dash. Slash is like
what's the minus sign?
Dash.
Ethan-farmer.com. www-ethan, E-T-H-A-N
Farmer.
Ethan-farmer.com, and you will be able to find me.
We're talking about everybody else, but now you ask everybody
and he also had his glasses on the CD.
So you really don't know what he looks like.
And also too, you can find him on www.blueblocker and Rayban.com. And you can also find Phil if you need moth control in your house. He'll bring his hat over and get all the moths out of your house. And that's how he charges you to make a lot of money.
Oh boy! But let me say this. Okay, go ahead.
And you can find him as a stunt double in the next Stoney Jackson movie. And y'all can find JJ on the 18. He's gonna be on the next 18. Pity the Fool.
Okay, let's see if we can get to that. Okay.
Go ahead, JJ.
Go ahead.
Say what you want to say.
I want you to explain this title, Wine and Strings.
Yes, explain Wine and Strings.
She asked you a question. You say you want. You need to explain that title. Oh, man, we're trying to bring you up, man. We're doing ups for you, man. Come on, man.
Big ups, man. Come on.
Wine and Strings, yes.
I gotta be shades and strings.
Also, with your album, it'll be hair grease and strings. Little piece of hair grease.
This has been going on even after this. They've been doing this since they hit the studio, y'all out there.
Like JJ said, can you explain Wine and Strings? How did you come up with that name?
Okay, I came up with Wine and Strings. When you listen to the record and the album, with God's blessing, it turned out to be. I was playing and I was.
Have your communion and listen to the CD.
When you, all right, you must have heard my album already. You must have heard that album, huh?
Every day.
She got from up under that dryer, like, pass me some wine, because it's a little hot up out here. You got the temperature on. Give me that. I don't want no grape juice. Give me that wine. That'll work. Get that grape juice away from me. Give me some saltines while you're at it. Communion, this is the first.
But here's what we're going to do. Since he's unable to explain, what we're going to do, we're going to load this up and have it on for next week.
Okay.
Now, here's what I want you to do, seriously, or any one of you three. Whenever we get a chance and you're doing something somewhere out of town on a Sunday, try to call us up, man, because that would be a big plug for you, too, to say, I'm up here in Chicago, I'm in Texas, I'm in Africa, wherever. And we'll put you on there for a quick 5 minutes or whatever, and let people know where you're at.
Right.
And you still, you're still telling everybody what you're doing in life. Because, see, a lot of folks don't know what people do. After you leave here, nobody will ever know what you're doing, hear your music. But I like people to know what you're doing and follow you.
Well, and you will check me out. I'll be on the BET Gospel Show.
Yes.
On April 1st, so you get to see me do a live performance on that.
And we are going to link this video up today. And, so you'll get to see what... Well, we'll get to see Ethan. We don't know what he looks like.
We had no time.
This is Ethan.
What color his eyes are.
Yeah, we don't know that. Yeah.
And you're going to get to see many different hairdos.
Oh, well, you like that, huh?
No, well, we're going to see everybody hairdo except...
He's wearing that.
And he's going to take that hat off.
All right, little Hawk. Not Mohawk, but Little Hawk. But
hey, where you get that shirt from? The furniture store with that chair? You mean me taking this sweater with this shirt on? I'll take it.
So someone has to get control. Okay, fellas, we gotta go for it.
Why they have you on the road?
Let me say something though. On a serious tip though, get this CD. It is funky.
Yeah, it's funky.
It is
real
funky. And for you bass players that really don't know, now you know.
Yeah.
And it's odd. We got 3 bass players sitting
That's
there.
right.
And they're all from Chicago. They're all
You got to autograph it now before you leave, man.
Yeah,
Come on, dog.
Yeah. Well, one last thing, man. She is with.
Cut that across the... No.
He goes shade pretty. He'll be like...
Shade. And that's what JJ do. How JJ signed something on that shirt, he gonna put a grease spot on the shirt. They gonna come in like, I know that grease spot. Anyway, JJ been in here. Hey, JJ, we're getting back to the stand. We remember on Juana, man. Stand, right.
Okay, y'all. We gotta go to our
And for Bill to leave this trademark here, he gonna leave a piece of shirt with one of these matching tables of materials in here.
Hey man, I got 2 more shirts out.
He gonna put a cloth on his microphone, a gray cloth. They gonna be like, Bill, use this microphone right here.
We're gonna go to our song. We gotta say goodbye to these 3 children.
And you know, I gotta tell you, you wearing that Prince shirt right there, don't you? You better wear it. That Purple Rain shirt.
Hey, I feel like
Beautiful one.
Hey, I feel like swashbuckling. The Pirates of the Caribbean.
And Phil, and if you don't zip that sweater on, look at the curls on your chest.
These brothers
Kind of distracted.
These brothers can never be in the same room at any one time again. I see it.
This one go on.
But we want to thank all of y'all for coming out.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
What do you check him out on BET? When is it coming on here?
On April 1st.
April 1st. He'll be on BET. Be the brother up there playing with who you be playing with?
With all the gospel acts.
Oh, all the gospel. Oh, okay, you're the band for the gospel. Okay, he'll be the bass player, and we really thank you for that. We thank Phil too, with JJ, right?
Yeah, JJ.
Yeah, we thank JJ.
JJ is going to be out with Mary J, right?
Yeah, Mary J.
Oh, you gonna be with Mary J?
Yeah, this next weekend.
And you can see him on the next commercial for S Curls.
Okay, right. For anybody who's looking for some good material, these brothers need the right way. These brothers need the right thing. If you're an up-and-coming comedian, need some material.
Hey man, hey, we all came up on the Bernie Mac, so what can we say?
Well, that's what they're all from Chicago. So, but we're gonna get y'all back again
Thank you.
when you're back in town. Well, you'll be in town still, right?
In and out, yes sir.
Okay, well, if you're not here next Sunday, then we'll call you. But if you are, we're trying to get you to come in for a few minutes.
Yes.
Or call, do a phone call. We'll
Okay.
just check this out.
No
and we'll
problem.
talk
Wine and strings, everybody. Ethan-Farmer.com.
Okay, and that was JJ,
You got it, JJ.
and also Sergeant Philco. And we'll be back with you. So we want to thank everybody for coming in again. Oh, and we want to thank their videographer there, over here. We'll see this later. We're going to link up with the video.
Put it on our Facebook.
We'll put it on our Facebook. But what's her name? Say her name, bro.
Anissa.
Anissa.
Oh, he said that. I couldn't have said it like that. I said, Anissa. That's
I
cool.
don't see no apple in your eye.
Hey man, you can't see nothing, man.
So we want to thank her. We're going to go to a song. We're going to get them out of here with love. And we want to thank y'all once again. Wine and grits. So we'll be back here.
Wine and cloth.
We'll be back here at 102 on the Urban Soul Radio. .FM. And God's Hotspot, that's with a Z. I know the show took a little while. We usually go down the tank at the end. Y'all took it down the tank since y'all started. So the show is all good. Ready to come up live now. So we have another special guest in studio coming here on God's Hotspot with a Z, where we are.
Redefining what you're used to.
Yeah, we're not used to this, that's for sure. But we enjoy you, gentlemen. Thank you.